right, perfect. Thank you all for your patience. My name is Teresa Garcia, as you all know. Thank you so much for joining us for our Advocacy Cafe. We are so excited to have Ana Maria here from the Mexican Consulate to let us know all of the services that they provide for our community, for Latinx community, for immigrant community, and those living here in the US, and also survivors of domestic violence. So we're really excited to have this topic. Please ask your questions. And again, we are sharing this live on Facebook. So for those of you joining us on Facebook, you are also welcome to ask your questions. This is the perfect time, and also share with your own communities as well to get the word out on the amazing things that the Mexican Consulate does for our communities. You will also be receiving a survey shortly after to obtain your certificate for those that are interested in getting a certificate. Please let us know how this training was for you. This session is also being recorded. You will have access to this recording for up to 7 days, but we will be also uploading this to our YouTube channel so you can have access to it for future. In the meantime, let me know if you all need anything. And again, my name is Teresa Garcia. I'm the Director of Training here at NMCADV, and I am now going to introduce your facilitator for the next hour and a half, Ana Maria from the Mexican Consulate. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Ana Maria.
Good morning, everybody. On the contrary, I am really glad to being here with all of you today. And thank you so much for your interest about knowing more about the job that the consulate performs. And maybe, I am not sure, I hope not, but maybe I will ask for Teresa's help in order to translate some ideas that maybe I am not able to translate into English, but I hope to be really clear. And please, if I am explaining something that you are not understanding, just let me know, because the most important thing today is to make understandable all the information for you. And maybe we have also very limited time to ask all the questions that maybe you will have. But please, you will have my contact information at the end of the presentation, and you could text me or send me an email anytime, or to my staff also, and we will be more than glad to answer any question that you have. Okay, so let me show with all of you my screen.
And yes, also I forgot to mention, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat so we get to know who's in the room. And if possible, please turn your cameras on so we can see you all during the training. And also please feel free to ask your questions and unmute. I will be also paying attention to the chat just in case you all do place them in the chat.
Please let me know if you are able to see the presentation.
We can see the presentation, but my face is on your screen. Probably not in the most favorable way.
How can we fix that? But I don't have any problem if your face appears. I think the most important is to see the presentation and to hear the voice.
That is okay.
Let me see if I could fix something. And now you are seeing my face again.
I can also share it for you if that's helpful, Ana Maria.
I think that this will be better. Thank you so much, Teresa.
Okay, let me share really quickly. All right. Perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
Many thanks. Okay, so we are at the beginning. And first, let me introduce myself. My name is Ana Maria Mendez. I am the head of Protection Services, Legal Affairs, and Community Outreach here at the Consulate of Mexico in Albuquerque. I am again glad to be part of this meeting today. Thank you so much, Teresa, for the invitation. And it would take me all day long to explain what does the consulate do, but considering the functions that maybe most of you perform, I will try to focus my presentation on the topics you may be interested in. Okay, so next, please, Teresa, first slide. Could we see the next? Yes, that's right. Some quick facts about the consulate. First, Mexico's consular network in the United States is the largest any country has within another. We have 1 embassy in Washington, D.C. and 50 consulates all over the states. So here at New Mexico, we are the only diplomatic and consular mission all over New Mexico. But in the states, we have 1 consulate in each state. So this is amazing, and we have a lot of Mexican diplomats working on benefit of our communities. The consulate here in New Mexico has 172 years of presence. Imagine, we have a large history here in New Mexico. The opening happened in 1849, around that year. That's a long, long time. Our jurisdiction covers the central and northern New Mexico. Our consulate general in El Paso cares about the 9 southern countries. But now, from the last June the 1st, 22, we cover also the Panhandle in Texas and the Northwest Texas. It means 38 counties more for us. So imagine, we have now tons of work to do, but really excited because this is a big challenge. And we really want to know what our Mexican community living at that area needs in order to provide the services that they are asking for. So at the end of this month, we will be traveling for our first time to Amarillo to join with the Mexican community and also with some leaders of community organizations at that place. Next, please, next slide. So you can see here the map about the northern and the central New Mexico, that is our jurisdiction, and the 9 that you see, the southern counties are from our consulate in El Paso. Then the next, Teresa, please. This is the Panhandle that I mentioned, the 38 new counties, including Lubbock and Amarillo, that are the biggest cities at that area. Next. And if you love this flyer, just let me know, because we have many of these in Spanish, of course, because the main goal is to let our community, Spanish speakers, know what are the services that we offer. So if you like this flyer, just let me know and I will provide flyers to be posted at your offices, and we'll be really happy to share with you these materials. This is one of the most complete flyers that we have that explain really brief what are the functions that we have. We have 3 branches that are interconnected. We cannot move forward with one branch and then forget about the other 2. We need to move forward with the 3 branches at the same time, because it talks about providing an integral care about our clients. So our main mission, our responsibility is to provide services and assistance to Mexican nationals living abroad. The Mexican consulates issue secure and reliable documents such as passports, consular IDs, We also promote a variety of cultural and educational programs that enable our citizens to maintain ties with Mexico. And at the same time, we are looking to empower them to achieve their goals and to make easier for them the integration into the American communities. So the flyer that we have here explains these, the three branches: the documentation services, that this is about Mexican passports, consular IDs, voters IDs, dual citizenship, power of attorneys. The second branch is the community outreach or community affairs that make visible all the information and the programs available for Hispanic and Mexican communities living here in New Mexico, in order that they have access to health programs, educational, finance, opportunities, regardless their immigration status. So this is the most important thing for us, to let them know that they have many, many chances to grow and to fulfill their dreams. So this is like the main goal of the community affairs. And obviously, we cannot do this work alone. We need of many of you, of your hands, of your talents, the talents of community organizations, authorities at all levels to get these goals. And the three branch, this is about protection, consular, and legal affairs. It takes care about, the immigration issues, the criminal and human rights cases that unfortunately we have many of them, and people that needs to have free legal advice, that needs to know if they can apply to have any immigration relief for their families. So this is like the main goal here at our protection services and legal affairs, to provide all this information. I will talk a little bit further about the protection consular services and legal affairs, because this is focused precisely on the attention of domestic violence victims. But before to continue with this, let me explain a little bit more about our functions in general, because as I said, they are interconnected. So maybe you could think that the protection services and the legal affairs are the only who takes care about women suffering violence. But in our view, we need to take care about them since the three different branches. Because, for example, thinking on one case, a woman that is in need of everything needs documentation. If she or he leaves her or his home without passport, without birth certificate, they need to get everything again to start their lives again, to apply for many programs. So we need to offer the documentation services. And then if they need healthcare attention, if they want to get a job, to apply to immigration relief, we need to take care about this from our three different branches. So continue with our main functions. Where are defined our functions? The functions are defined on an international treaty known as Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. This Vienna Convention on Consular Relations rules the functions of each consulate all over the world, not just the Mexican consulates. For example, you as American citizens, when travel out of the United States, if you need something about the US government, you could go and ask for assistance to the American consulates or the American embassies in other countries. And they are also ruled by the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. This is like an international rule under we work. Each country works under these rules. And let me go to the next slide, please, Teresa. There are the 3 branches that we mentioned, and they are included on the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. Next, please. So here we have, again, explaining a little bit more about the functions that we have, the issuing of documents, promoting preventive protection and community strategies. We are also looking to let our people know that they have rights and that they have very good friends, very good friends in community organizations, and also with some authorities to defend these rights, to present some claims. And we are trying to build a relationship, a trusted relationship between authorities and other local actors. And the third, we are also trying to implement programs that enable our Mexican citizens maintain ties with their places of origin, because it's important, don't forget about your roots. Even when they don't have plans to come back to Mexico, it's really important to keep the language, to try to transmit this language to their sons, to their daughters, and to talk about the culture, to talk about our traditions, because our roots are our roots, no matter where they are. So this is also part of the job that the community outreach performs. Okay, so next slide, please. Immigration, that's perfect. To going further on the issues that we care about from immigration at the Protection Department, we provide information about the rights, the constitutional rights that all people have. And we also offer legal advice. Attention to this. We don't have lawyers here at the consulate, but we have programs that allow us to hire lawyers and specialist lawyers at immigration issues, labor issues, civil law, to take care about these requestings of our people. So if somebody call me or come to the consulate and tell me, hey, I need legal advice, but I can't afford this service, we interview the person to know if it's real, this economic situation, this hard economic situation, and we try to figure it out, which is the best lawyer to take care about this specific case. Second, we ensure that prison officials are providing appropriate medical care if needed. We also take care about Mexican inmates, because this is a reality. We have people at the correctional facilities, and we also need to take care about their human rights. So we are monitoring constantly the situation inside the correctional facilities and trying to establish a communication with authorities to let them know what the inmates ask to have. 3, humanitarian paroles. This is really, really common. We receive 5, 6, 7 calls in 1 week asking to have this. This is better known like humanitarian visa. And people commonly think that the consulate issue this permission, that makes something to have this permission. But in reality, we cannot take decisions on immigration issues because it belongs just to the US authorities. The decision to allow somebody to enter in the US, it's totally up the US immigration authorities. So the information that we provide is about the requirements that commonly the US immigration authorities ask for. For example, that they need a sponsor letter, somebody who offers his or her address for this person that is trying to get into the States, and also a letter talking about what is the situation, because this person is asking to get into, maybe we have a disease, maybe we have some relative at the hospital, and this is because they are trying to travel to the United States. So this is general information just to try that people have more chances to receive a positive answer from immigration authorities. Also, we ensure fair and human treatment for detainees. I mentioned this before. Explore immigration options and protections for battered spouses, children, and parents victims of human trafficking and other crimes as domestic violence. We are really, really happy to work together hand to hand with many organizations here in New Mexico, because they let us know when they have special cases regarding Mexican citizens. And even if they are not sure if we can do something about, they send the information to us. Hey, consulate, we have the case of one family, but we are not sure if you have the resources to help them. So here you have the personal contact information of them. Just please try to reach them and to know if you can do something. So this is the way that we work together, with a very closer communication. We also support the DACA applicants. We have a small budget, but with all our heart, we try to offer this budget to people in need. And we have sometimes DACA applicants to ask support, economic support, to pay the renewals of their applications because they lost their job, because they had hard time, I don't know, they were sick, or many things. So we analyze the situation case by case and try to support these people also. We offer information about naturalization processes. To do this, we work closely with USCIS offices. They used to travel with us to our mobile consulates. I will explain to you which is this about. The mobile consulates is to take out our office and take them to the rural communities, because we know that we have also people living far from the big cities that they need to have information and services from us, but they can't afford to travel to Albuquerque, or they don't have time, or they travel all the week. So we have these mobile special consulates always on weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays. And we take all our equipment, our computers, our printers, and all the office, all the staff travel to take these services to our people. And we invite organizations also to travel with us to offer all this information about other services out of the consulate. And USCIS used to travel with us before the pandemic, and then they are again trying to find dates to come with us to the next events. So they have a booth, an information booth, and they explain the many options that they have at that office, and also provide individual consultations at the mobile consulates. So if somebody has interest about these processes, they have all the information at the same place. And we also provide special economic assistance for vulnerable cases. Here is where we also work really closer with all the organizations regarding domestic violence, because you know that one of the things that our victims need is economic relief. They need to pay everything: toothpaste, shampoo, clothes, many needs. So we also receive these cases, have an interview, because this is part of our rules, to have a very complete interview, to have our files, to know what the story was about, and try to figure it out what else we can do, not just the economic assistance or not just the legal advice, because maybe many of you have the experience that the victims sometimes don't know what they need. They need to cover at the very first moment their basic needs. But if we try to look a little bit more in the future, we could have a bigger perspective of what they will need. And we can offer also other options for them to try to empower our victims. Maybe for them, at the very first moment, they are not taking care about education. They are not taking about entrepreneur opportunities. They are just taking about how can we eat tomorrow? What can we offer to my children today? Oh, I lost my home. Where we could sleep tonight? But then we could offer other options in order that they recover the self-confidence on themselves. So this is the way that we try to do the things with domestic violence and other victims of different crimes. Please, Teresa, next slide. Criminal. We also provide a general overview to our people of the local criminal justice process. And you know that this is really important, because our people faces a different language and also a different judicial system. They don't understand what they are facing and what the process will be at the court. So we need to try to explain with the most simple words which is the process and what they will face. And to do this, obviously, I need the help of the lawyers that have the expertise to offer this information, but also we try to do at the very first time, at the very first visit of our clients, this overview. Also, we inform of local and Mexican-based resources to assist victims of crime. This is what I mentioned. We cannot do this alone, but if we have really clear what is the job that the organizations like you perform, we have very addressed and very located. Okay, if you are a crime victim, if you need economic relief, you need to pay some healthcare expenses, and you need also to pay maybe funeral expenses, we could connect you with the New Mexico crime victims, because they offer this economic relief and other many resources for people who suffer something. So we try to connect people with the different services available. In the case of Mexican citizens, I mentioned what we do. And also we try to establish contact with their family and friends living in Mexico. For example, I have a really sad history. The last year, somebody at one correctional facility reached out to the consulate for the first time. He was almost between 8 and 10 years in prison. But that was the first time that he was in touch with the consulate. And the thing that he asked was, hey guys, help me to locate my relatives in Mexico, because I have the 8 years without knowing anything about them. I don't even know if my mother is still alive. I don't even know if my father is still alive. So I don't have any idea about their telephone numbers. And my only hope here at the jail is to have news about my family. And fortunately, we have a very good answer of our authorities in Mexico. They help us to locate the family, the relatives. Sadly, his mother passed away like 3 years before, and the father is still alive. And we connect a telephone call with his father. Could you imagine how emotive that moment was for him to listen the voice of her father after 8 or 10 years, but also to know that his mother is not alive anymore. So maybe they are little things, but for one person, it means a lot. It means a lot, and it helps us to continue trying to do our best to help people. So this is another example of what the consulate can do regarding people incarcerated. Next, please, Teresa. Human rights. Okay, we have these cases. Fortunately, they are not really common, but not here at New Mexico. Maybe in other states we have lots of these situations happening. But when we have hate crimes, when we have discrimination because of your skin color, because of your nationality, because you don't speak English properly, because of your religion, we need to take care about this. And we need to establish communication with all the authorities to ensure that our people will be respected, because they have rights regardless their immigration status. So when we have a case of human rights, the communication could also goes beyond the consulate level. At that cases, also our embassy in Washington has known about these situations and established direct communication with the Department of State, with the Department of Justice, because they are really serious cases. We also have closer communication with law enforcement officers, because we know that maybe we can receive some cases regarding excessive force claims. And obviously, if we try to let the law enforcement officers that people have rights, that they need to take care about them, that people need to trust on their officers, and try to educate also about these rights, that this is not, if you want to do this is not like an advice, take it or leave it. This is a responsibility, it's a duty. This is about international treaties. This is about law. So if we try to have this communication with them, we are really sure that they can understand that we need to work together trying to move forward the education for our people, but also for them at the academy, with the cadets, at the very first levels, when the law enforcement officers are receiving training, because we think that this is the clue. If they have this on mind all the time, we won't have excessive force claims and things like that. Next slide, please, Teresa. The administrative. The administrative issues takes care about economic expenses of people in need as I mentioned, for example, the domestic violence victims, but also when we have Mexican disease. If their families want to transfer the bodies to Mexico, we offer all the information regarding this process because they need special paperwork to do this transfer to Mexico, to any part of Mexico. And also, sadly, we receive many cases about families that they can't afford these expenses. So again, case by case, we evaluate how much we can provide to help to pay these services. Attention to this. The consulate has not enough budget to pay the grand total of the services, but we do our best to pay an important part of these expenses. And again, it depends case by case on the economic situation of the families. And the condition to provide this help is that the body or the ashes, as the family decided, needs to be transferred to Mexico. And this is one of our Mexican rules. There is nothing that we can do to change this. So if we have a family that are asking to have this economic relief, but they are not planning to take the body to Mexico, we cannot pay, we cannot provide this economic support. We just provide information about some local processes. If they want to have contact information about funeral homes with special prices and things like that, we can do this, but not to provide the economic relief if they are not planning to take the body to Mexico. Also, we notify next of kin in case of a death abroad. And it happens all the time, especially when people cross the border without documentation. They cross alone, they cross with trafficking people, and some of them died. This is a tragedy for us, because they are trying to pursue a dream, and then the only thing that they find is death. So in most of these cases, we collaborate with authorities here in Albuquerque with the OMI to try to identify the body, because sometimes people lost their travel documents and their identifications. And this is an advice that they receive from polleros, the people who ask to have money to take them into the United States. They tell them, hey, you, if you have a Mexican passport or you have any ID, please take it away from you, because if some authority found you, they can't have any way to know who are you, your nationality, and they will have trouble to try to take them back to your country. So these people follow the advice, lost their documents, but if something happened in the way and they find the date, we can have any document to know who they are, and it takes several months to have information clear about who they are. And imagine, try to find relatives in Mexico is a big challenge without any clue. But this is one of our missions. This is one of our functions to help the authorities in these cases. And we also provide information and consular assistance in case of natural disasters. For example, now that we have the fires, we work closely with Red Cross here in New Mexico to offer the information available for people who suffer due to these natural disasters and what they can do to prevent incidents at home. So we also take care about this. Next, please, Teresa. Labor. We also offer legal advice regarding unfair labor practices like discrimination, retaliation, refusal to bargain, workplace injuries, incidents and fatalities, unpaid wages, and workplace harassment. We do some referrals to authorities at different levels, federal, state, and local, depending the cases. We work closely with OSHA, with the Department of Labor, with the EEOC, which in our division, to try to educate about our community about their rights and let them know that most of these agencies provide Spanish information. If they are afraid they don't speak English and they can't explain properly what is the situation at their jobs, they have people who speak Spanish to receive the claims and to follow an investigation if we have unfair labor practices. And I just also want you to know that each year, all these Mexican network consulates in the states have a very special week dedicated exclusively to talk about labor rights. And it happens the last week on August. And we are preparing to have this year, this very special week, also with the priceless help and support of authorities and community organizations who make presentations, Facebook Lives, presentations here at the consulate to let the people know that they could have help. So if you are interested to know a little bit more about these activities, you also can follow us on Facebook. We have a web page, an official web page also of the Consulate of Mexico, and we publish all the activities and the whole agenda of each issues, education, financial, protection services, legal affairs, that we are trying to move forward each week for the community. Next, please. Family. We offer legal advice on international parental child abductions and parenting custody cases, Mexican children and youth cases under the custody of state authorities. As you may know, we also work with CYFD because we have, sadly, Mexican children, Mexican families involved in investigations with the Department of Child, Youth, and Families. And this is also a duty of the CYFD to inform to the consulate when they have cases regarding Mexican citizens. So we take care about these people and establish communication with families. Attention to this. Mexican people is not obligated to receive consular services. This is totally up to them. They are free to ask for our support, but this is their right to know that we are here to help, and authorities at all levels must inform the consulate if they have some investigation open or some people detained or arrested or whatever regarding Mexican citizens, and let them know that they have the right to ask to have immediate communication with the consulate, a phone call. This is like Miranda's rights. When you are arrested, that you can ask to have a call to your lawyer or to remain silent. this is part of this right to have access to your consulate. But if you don't want to have access, you could also say no. I am not interested in having communication with the consulate, and we need to respect that decision. We cannot make anything about this. We also participate in reunification processes. You know that we have also cases of Mexican children living here alone. And we collaborate to try to find their relatives in Mexico and to locate the most appropriate place for them. Because you know also that if they suffer domestic violence, they were mistreated and things like that, maybe the home is not the most appropriate place to take them back. So we collaborate with authorities in Mexico to locate a better place for them. And we also help in cases of alimony and child support. And it has a relation with the domestic violence cases, because sometimes our domestic violence victims say, hey, I need help, I need economic relief from my husband, from the father of my children, but he refused to do that. And he treated me, and he told me, if you ask to have a child support, I will call immigration authorities and let them know that you are here without documents. So don't do that. Don't do that. I won't pay for anything. But I let our victims know that they have the right to ask for this child support. And if they don't want to have closer communication with the abusers, we could try to arrange to make the proper arrangements with authorities to make this without any closer contact, especially when we have these restriction orders. So we try to make the things as best as possible for the families and try to don't take them together at the consulate. And also we have interesting cases about child support requests from Mexico. For example, children that are living in Mexico, but the father is living here in the States. So it's possible also to ask to have this child support for children living in Mexico. And the authorities here, the New Mexico Human Services, help us a lot to receive these international requests and to find the employer of these fathers or also mothers, we have both, to ask to have these monthly payments according with the wage of the mothers and the mothers that due these alimonies. So this is a great resource for our domestic violence victims and the children. Next, please. Okay, so I have explained like the 6 different issues that we take care about here at the Protection Department and Legal Affairs. But now let's talk a little bit more about the 3 branches regarding the community outreach. The community outreach try to improve the quality of life of our Mexican communities here and promote their strengthening, development, and integration. And how can we do this? With the help of all of you. For example, we have 5 different windows. We call these like windows, like an attention windows, who offer special information about the different resources available for people. For example, we have the Ventanilla de Salud, like health window. So people can come here, and no matter if they don't have insurance, no matter if they don't have a social security number, they receive all the information about the community clinics, the health services that they are in need to know. to have services. And also we offer once a week here, totally for free, high pressure. How do you say, Teresa, when you want to know the number of your high pressure?
Oh, of your blood pressure?
Toma de presión arterial.
Sí, blood pressure.
We have these services to know the numbers of your blood pressure and to have the numbers of your blood, of your level of sugar on blood, the glucose, for free. And sometimes we identify many cases of people who needs to go to emergency room at that moment because they have really high blood pressure or really high levels of glucose in the blood, but they don't have any idea that this is happening inside their bodies because they don't have healthcare services. So this is one of our main functions of the Ventanilla de Salud. And proudly, we can announce that from last May, New Mexico Community Health Worker Association is operating our Ventanilla de Salud because the Ventanillas are a program of the consulates, but we need organizations who operate these Ventanillas. So in this case, Nuestra Salud, this is the short name for New Mexico Community Healthcare Workers, is operating the Ventanilla de Salud of the Consulado. They also travel with us to the mobile consulates to offer all these services for free and to talk about the most common problems related with diseases of the Hispanic community, how to prevent these diseases, how to have better habits and a better health. This is one of the ventanillas. The second and the third are regarding educational services. For example, people who travel to the States without finish their middle school, their high school, they could continue with these studies totally for free, just online with Mexican educational authorities. And they can decide their study times according with their activities during the week. So this is a great option for them. Also for people who wants to have studies at the level of college and at the level of university, our Mexican institutions in Mexico offer these special programs for the community, for the immigrant community here in the States. So imagine how it opens the window to a different future for our domestic violence victims that may never know that it's possible to continue studying and to have better opportunities of job, to have a different opportunities in the life. So we are really proud to have these educational programs also. For example, we have a special program called IMEBecas. IMEBecas each year provides economic resources to some college, to some educational institutions here in New Mexico to pay partially the studies of Mexican youth interested in have a better future. So for example, this year we are providing grants to Santa Fe Community College, to CNM, and also NALBA. This is a community organization that takes care about education issues also. And we provide this economic support to pay for the last semesters of Mexican youth that need this extra help to finish or to conclude their studies. And also the other ventanilla is called the financial ventanilla. And for example, we have a program that I think I shared with Teresa last week, or maybe two weeks ago, about a special program just for women who are interested in entrepreneur something. So we are offering, with the help of the University of Arizona, a special training that lasts between 3 or 4 months to let women know how to elaborate a business plan and how to fulfill their dreams if they want to be the owner of their businesses. So this is a really good resource for them also to have the economic independence. And next, please. What the consulate cannot do. And this is really important, guys. Why? Because most of the time, people think that the consulate can do lots of things. And then when they realize that we cannot, they disappointed, totally disappointed about us. But I think that it's important that people know what can we do in order to avoid these difficult situations or moments. So this is the list of the things that we cannot do: assist in removing Mexican citizens from jails, state the guilt or innocence of an individual to a court, represent Mexican citizens in court, serve as official interpreters or translators, pay legal services and other fees. Attention to this, because at the end, we are closer to the end. I'm gonna talk about the special legal advice programs that we have. And in some cases, as we have with domestic violence victims, we could analyze if we could pay for representation services. But this is just case by case. This is not with all the people, because we have very limited budget to do this. So we need to choose very, very carefully what are the cases that deserve the most these economic reliefs. We cannot cover medical expenses or get involved in private legal matters or financial disputes. We cannot translate or apostille official documents. We cannot refund hotel costs. If somebody traveled to the States and something happened and they don't have money, we cannot pay expenses of traveling. And we cannot help people to find employment. And maybe you say, hey, but this is not like very difficult to do. But these things are not part of our functions. We think that our functions go beyond of that. And we are really short staffed. So if we do these things also, we don't have enough time to help all the people who, it's for sure, will knock in the door of the consulate. So I will ask Teresa to share this presentation with all of you, because it has all this information that we talk about. And also you are watching now the different emails, and especially attention to this. We have a special phone number, usually for domestic violence victims. It works 24/7. We have received calls from victims on Saturdays at 3 a.m., on Sundays at 1 a.m., trying to know what they can do, because they need to go out home at that moment, and they need somebody who tell them what to do. So this is especially to receive these calls. And also for incidents regarding Mexican citizens, for arrested people, and for dead people. Just for that. This is not to provide information about the requirements for a passport or the requirements of dual citizenship. This is like a 911, and we need to use it properly, just to these very sensitive cases. But please, you could share this information with your agencies or with your team, with your staff, because we are here to listen. And then this is what I mentioned about the programs that we have to help people that cannot afford legal advice or legal representation. So the first of these programs is PALE. PALE means External Legal Consultant Program. And this offers legal advice or representation on criminal, civil, family, labor, and immigration law. It depends what people need. And MCLAP, it works with death penalty cases. These programs, both PALE and MCLAP, has almost between 15 and 20 years working at our consulates. And the rates of success of these programs is really, really high. For example, of 100 cases of people sentenced to death penalty, we take around 80 or 85 of these cases with a different sentence. So imagine, this is a really, really high success. And please, if you are not sure if we can do something regarding a case, just text us, send us an email, and we will have an interview with your clients to explore what options we have. Next slide, please, Teresa. In this slide, it talks about the PALE and the MCLAP, the programs that we have to pay for advice and representation. And again, they are external attorneys. They are not attorneys working at the consulate. They are law firms and attorneys on their own, but they are not part of the consulate staff. And I think that we have finished. The next slide has my personal contact information. Please do not hesitate to reach me out. Sometimes by phone is difficult because we are running all the time from one place to another. But if you send me a message to this email or to my staff, it's for sure that me or somebody of the staff will reach you out as soon as possible, especially if you have a sensitive case. So I think that I am missing lots of things. Next slide, please, Teresa. But we just have 1 hour, and maybe I am taking of your time of questions, answers and questions. So thank you so much for listening, and we are here to help.
Thank you so much, Ana, and thank you for being here with us today. I just wanted to give a couple more minutes to see if anybody had any questions in regards to the vast information that was provided today. As she mentioned, it really goes into details and we only have 1.5 hours, but is there anything that you all might be experiencing or have experienced at your programs? Right now would be the best opportunity to ask. And
thank you, Ana, for the presentation. Good education for me, thank you. And I would like to have your information again on the screen so that I can finish writing it down, please. Your contact information.
If it's helpful, I can send an email out with her information so you all have it, as I will also be sending this PowerPoint slide to you as well, so you all have that.
Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome, Edgar.
Thank you, Ana.
Thank you, Edgar.
Teresa, Ana, ¿cómo estás, Jessica? I'm interested on the actual flyer that you were mentioning at the beginning of the presentation.
The gray one at the beginning.
Yes, because now in my clinic, I am the only Spanish speaker, and I will be facilitating assistance to our Spanish speakers, Mexican clients. So most of the time when I work with them, they have a lot of questions. You answer a bunch of them for me, but it would be great to have something like that I can provide to them on Spanish. So Teresa, si te puedo dar mi información o my dirección, that we can get some mail down my way, I would totally appreciate it.
Sí, voy a agarrar un reporte después de esta cita y te los puedo mandar a todos. So everybody that attended, I'm going to get a report afterwards, and I will make sure to send all this information to you. And just a reminder, you can watch this recording up to 7 days. So if you want to come back and rewatch it, you're more than welcome to do that. Just use the same link you logged onto.
Of course, Jessica, you will count with this material, and anybody who needs, just let us know through Teresa, and we will be happy to provide them.
Y muchas gracias por la información. It was like way overdue at my end. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias, Jessica.
All right. Well, I don't see any questions. I will, as I mentioned, add Ana Maria's information to the email. Please feel free to reach out to her at any time. Everybody that works at the Mexican consulate has been fantastic. They are amazing people. So you can reach out to them at any time and they will direct you in the direction that you need to go. And if they can't support you or something comes up, they'll let you know how to or who to connect with. They're an amazing resource. So please do not hesitate to reach out to them. And let us also know here at the coalition how we can support you. But please, let Ana Maria know if there's anything else that comes up within your programs. All right. Well, thank you so much. Muchas gracias, Ana Maria, por estar aquí con nosotros ahora. And being here with us today, we really thank you. And we hope to do this in future. We are thinking about having this session again in Spanish. And so I know that we have a lot of advocates within New Mexico that are Spanish speakers, and would be great to have this information again in Spanish that can be shared widely. To hopefully, maybe a survivor might come across the information. That's why we do our trainings via Facebook. So that way survivors and those in our community can obtain this information. All right, well, you all have a fantastic day. I will send you an email with your survey to obtain your certificate, with the link to watch the recording on all this amazing information. Muchas gracias, Ana Maria. Thank you so much for being here today.
On the contrary, it was my pleasure to share all this information with you, and just let me thank to all of you for all the job that you perform in the benefit of our communities. For sure that maybe we have established contact with one of you, but if not, just don't hesitate to text me, and it's for sure that we find a way to collaborate together.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.